What's up, everybody? Don with the DonFronShow. And I'm making this video for everyone that's new to my channel, and I'm going to talk about my style and just kind of what I do. So that way you at least know, at least know what I'm talking about. You at least have an idea. So when I am going on these live streams, talk about my videos and my zones, you guys have it's a lot easier to follow along. Now, to get this just out of the way, right? I've been known to poke fun at indicators, right? So when I was new to trading, I skipped all that, right? I know that 95% of people suck. They just lose their money. It's just how it is. And going into a room of 100 people, 95 they'd be worthless. They'd just be losing money hand over fist. And then the 5 that didn't know what they were talking about, I wouldn't be able to differentiate the two, because everyone says they're a winner. Everyone is like their Instagram account. They just can't wait to show you the best ever. You know, they'll lose 100 times, make 1,000% on some cheap options play, and talk about that for the next 3 years. Like, they do it consistently. So I skipped all that, and I skipped indicators, right? I know the retail crew uses indicators, so I skipped it, right? They're losing, and I didn't think millions, anyone with millions on the line isn't just looking at a line on the screen and saying, oh, it's at the VWAP. Let me go ahead and grab that. But long story short, guys, there's a few ways you can do this. As long as you're profitable, who cares? I'd like to say I won't make fun of indicators anymore. It's probably not going to happen, so I don't want to lie to you. I'm actually going to try to be a little more self-conscious of it, because as I'm recording this right now, I am a mentor on WeTradeHQ.com, and someone came in and said, "Am I going to get shunned for using the VWAP?" And so for everybody, no, I actually don't care if you use indicators. In fact, I'm more of a psychological trader, and if that makes you feel at ease and you're making money, do it. But for me personally, I draw these zones out. Now I look for buyers and I look for sellers, right? I don't care if it's from a VWAP line. I don't care if it's from news. I just look. I know where the buyers are at, and I want to know where the sellers are at, right? So I'm a buyer when there's buyers. I'm a seller when there's sellers. It's that simple. When there's more buyers, it goes up. There's more sellers, it goes down. There's no two ways about this. Investors will buy it off of a report and good fundamental analysis. Day traders, get down to the 1 minute time frame. They're looking to pay above price that everyone else pays, right? VWAP joke. You're literally bragging about paying more than everyone else because you bought it above the average price. Either way, who cares, right? I don't care why they're buying, as long as they're buying. I like to go under the radar and do it. Now, this often shows. Now, the way I trade, which I have other videos, stop loss the correct way, 1% stop loss the correct way, perfect entry types, which goes over these zones, which today we're going to go over. Now, if you see these yellow zones, I'm typically drawing these out on the 4-hour. Purple's on the hourly. I'm thinking zone to zone, just like we did here. This is Apple. But these purple ones are speed bump, hiccup zones. Hey, you might see some red there. That's the turbulent area. Time to babysit, time to manage. Again, not a set and forget, a set and manage. So that's what I'm doing inside here. It could reverse, could just kind of base rally. We see it go a couple times here. This is the time I need to be alerted. So you see me drawing these out a lot. Now, there's a lot of zones. I break things down for a lot of people, so I try to help out as many as I can, because my style is very scalable. Right? It doesn't matter the time frame. I used to give out a homework assignment inside the mentorship group. I still do every week, but I used to just screen capture just the candles without even a ticker or price, and it doesn't matter. Now, I think the smaller the time frame you go, the more noise you get. So my sweet spot is 4-hour. I draw these zones out on the 4-hour time frame, and I'm managing on the hourly, so hourly time frame. So when you see me breaking down stuff, I'm usually here on the 4-hour. If the 4 hours are looking a little choppy, I will switch to the daily. But even remember that, guys, the daily candles are just one candle. 4-hour is 2 candles in a day. So it can kind of clear things up if something does look a little choppy. The closest thing to my style is supply and demand. If you ever hear people talk about supply and demand. However, I'm not drawing supply and demand zones. I will call it out when I say, hey, I'm going to draw this zone like this, more of a supply and demand style. But I like to grab, let's just draw, hang on. We'll paintbrush it up. We'll just do it real quick. Let's say there's just a group of candles. Red, green, right? So I like to grab bases like that. Now there'll be a couple wicks, Let's say it just looks like that. Now, I will actually draw my zone out similar to this. I like to grab the candle bodies, right? I'm off the radar. Now supply and demand will grab their distol line, and the distances, think of distance for distol line. They'll have it all the way down here, and they'll stop out below. Where I like to grab right here at the candle bodies, where that balance of buyers and sellers are really at. Because if there's 50 buyers and 50 sellers, it stays in the middle. Second it gets skewed, we start working one way or the other. Now, these are price a sign of rejection. So this is my main body. That's where I structure my trade. I like to get in here. I mean, type 1, type 2, type 3. If you follow the cursor, it's kind of how I trade from going long. I use this to structure my stop loss. So if I were to get into a position, I would go long. Let's say I was taking the type 2. So it's going to be closer down here to the bottom. Now, given this funny stuff right here, see how most of the time it gets rejected right inside here? One time we got a little carried away, but we kind of hung out right here. I'd put my stop, actually right where it's at, right below these wicks. And that's where I'd want to tag out, because I know the buyers were here, the buyers showed up. In fact, if it breaks that, then the buyers aren't there, and something about my plan was wrong. The buyers weren't there, so if they're not there, neither am I. Now, if you're under PDT and you maybe don't have the luxury of just in and out whenever you want, you might want to actually just go ahead and take a smaller position, give it your whole stop right there. Now, my take profit is usually the next zone up, so there's usually one, let's just grab it up here. So I'm going to take profit, and that's how my trades will set up. They'll look like that. Again, not a set and forget, a set and manage. So as we leave here, OCO style bracket in, entry, stop loss, take profit. Every trade has all three of these numbers before I ever click the submit button. Now, once we get up here, I'll actually move my stop loss up here. So let's just draw that out real quick. So here is my entry, right? Got in here. Candles are dancing around. We finally, we'll paintbrush it up real quick. We're dancing around, and then we start to leave. We'll say speed bump zone right inside here. And let's, what I'm expecting that to do, actually, if I'm brushing that out, push up to here, base out a little more, maybe a little more defined, and then push up. So how I'll trade that exact pattern. So we're fine, we get above here. I probably haven't moved my stop up. We finally start to, the train has left the station. I say it all the time, you don't need to be the first one on the train, you just need to be on the train. Psychologically, which one is better for you, right? You don't want to get in something too early, freak out, psych yourself out, close a position you don't need to. So again, train leaves station. I will start to, sorry about that, move my stop up. So this is my stop loss. That's my entry. So I put my stop loss in the green. Let it dance around. On the hourly time frame, green candle. Red candle pulls back, doesn't break it. Hourly trend stays up. The second we actually, now I'm following the hourly trend. Right, so not the candle bouncing around, the one before it. Giving it plenty of breathing room, depending on the ticker as well. You might want to tighten things up. If things make a spike, a move out of the ordinary, at that point it's time to manage sooner. We're going to just move that stop up, which I'll get into a later video. I call icing on the cake plays. Like, I still think we're going zone to zone, but maybe I stop out to get back in a little bit cheaper, kind of getting cute with the stock. But once we get up here, I leave my stop. Once we base out, we make one of these right here, intraday on a smaller time frame. I put my stop underneath it. I let it do its thing. Now, at this point, I'm asking myself, does it actually make sense? Do I want to add on? Since my stop is right here, I'll add more on. I have this position. I've added on. I'm not going to ride 500 shares up and 1,000 down. So my stop goes here. So does my new shares. Full stop, full position right there. Don't like giving it back. We get the structure, and I can trade like that. And then as soon as it leaves the station again, we start working our way up. Now what I do, just like I did the purple zone, once we get to the yellow, I'm instantly looking for rejection, so my stop loss is right there. But if we base out in there, then I'm doing it again. And I will manage this thing, and that's how I bag hold my winners. My winners are much bigger than my losers because I don't just guess the tops, right? If you don't want to guess the bottoms, don't guess the tops. Bag hold the winners, not the losers. So, again, this is a smaller time frame. Up here, a little bit more wiggle room. I'll let this thing dance around. Again, we're back on the 4-hour time frame. And I'll go zone to zone to zone to zone to the moon, Mars's moon, Pluto. Depends if you trade Tesla or not. I'll go wherever this thing wants to go. But the second it turns around, that's my stop, and I'm out. And that's how I trade, guys. So you'll see me break down stuff. Sometimes I'll get new charts without this. I'll freshen up zones. I'll delete all the charts. But again, I'm looking for buyers. I'm looking for sellers. I don't care about magical lines. I don't care. Fundamental analysis is good for a little blip, but fundamental analysis tells me where the company's going to be in 5 years. Is that company still going to be here in 5 years? Cool. Are there buyers in it? Then I want to buy. Again, that's my style of trading. I will probably always poke fun at indicators, but I will never judge anybody, right? This isn't the only way to trade the stock market. It's just the way that I trade the stock market. It's the way it makes sense to me. That's it. So again, mentor on WeTradeHQ.com. There's people over there that use indicators. Brad, who runs the site, uses indicators. I can't wait to troll him when he tells me about an indicator, right? It's one of the first things I do. But again, that's just me. So if you hear me talking about that on YouTube, making fun of somebody, I'm not actually making fun. I would never actually, with the intent of, making fun of somebody, actually do it. I'll poke fun and joke around just with friends. So that's my style. Hopefully now you guys can follow along and understand what these yellow zones mean. Again, watch my video, 1% stop loss the correct way, and perfect entry types, and you'll be able to follow along with every one of my live streams, understand why I just drew that magic yellow box there, and why I'm going to be a buyer when it gets to that. Every night I break down stocks. I set alerts. So if I'm waiting for a dip, I'll set an alert right here, right above that zone. And as soon as we dip down into it, that alert lets me know it's coming into a zone. It's time to take a position or wait for that perfect entry right inside here. So I set alerts all day. I do whatever I want. I'm also a real estate agent, but whatever I want. When an alert goes off, I buy the stock. It's that simple. I'm not emotionally watching up and down and waiting at computer screens all day. So again, guys, that's my style. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it, maybe understand my style a little better now. And I will see you guys in the next video.